Infinite Health by Tycho, not Tycho. Thank you, Kylie. And that was your selection for the poll, which went on to win.
Yay, I got a poll in September. I got one.
Yeah.
Wahi! Yeah.
Thanks for voting, those of you who did, and yeah, saw Kylie, get a rare win, I suppose. So yeah, I'll let you take the reins to kick off this discussion.
Yeah, Tycho, which is the project of Scott Hansen. I missed the first one that came out in 2006, which I think a lot of people did, but Dive in 2012 is where I got into him, and he really Dive, Awake, Epoch, like that run there. I think it's just untouchable for what he does. These electronic scapes, but also the live instrumentation, and then without the lyrics, like that's speaking my language there. And then Weather was the one where he tried adding vocals to it, and no slight on Saint Center. I think she's got a great voice. She sang on almost every track on that record, and great voice. But it wasn't why I go to Tycho, and I think a lot of people felt that same way. And when they released the Weather remixes, without her, I was like, yeah, this is a great Tycho record. And then simulcast in 2020, the year that shall not be talked about. That was just a really needed return to form. That is one of those records that I went to a lot that year of, when you're just spun out and so stressed with everything that's going on. Tycho's good for that. And Tycho's an all occasions guy, it's whether you're exercising or working or, having an after work spliff, it's always great. And along those lines too, Tycho was the last show I saw before the shutdown, like a week or so before. And I think the records are one thing, but everyone, if you haven't seen Tycho, I highly recommend them live. It's a full band, and Scott Hansen's also a visual artist. And so there's just great projections going on the entire time. And it's really just an experience. So, it's been 4 years. I think he's put out a few singles in between. So was excited for Infinite Health to come out. And I'm going to say this in a positive way for myself, but it's more of the same. I think I think the guitars are a little more forward in the mix on this record than they have been in the past, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, this is it's been pure bliss, and the album that I've been reaching for at the end of the day when I need to decompress. And yeah, it's short, it's sweet. It's like 30 minutes long. And, I don't think from my perspective, it's not really worth pointing out any particular songs that really stand out to me, because each Tycho record is just like a journey. I kind of view them as one solid piece of music. But yeah, I'm extremely happy with this. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad they're touring. I'm bummed I'm gonna miss they're playing here on Halloween. It's sold out.
Oh no.
Yeah, we'll see if we can pull some strings. But
yeah. I'm aware there's someone there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, love this record, and I'm so happy that the Tycho's back and out there again.
Good stuff. So Karl, what was your thoughts on Infinite Health?
Yeah, so I mean, similar to Pumpkins, Tycho was another one I was kind of late to the party with. It might even have been, I'm trying to remember now, it might have even been you, Cardi, who put me onto them, because came in on the last record simulcast over lockdown, and hearing you talk about it, I'm like, I'm wondering if it was Kiley who sent it my way.
Yeah, I reviewed it in the newsletter.
Yeah, that was probably it, you know.
Yeah.
So that was my first touch point. Really enjoyed it. Then found out, obviously, it was the companion piece to Weather, which came out 6 months earlier. Went back, listened to that, and then similar to you, ultimately ended up preferring the more instrumental simulcast. So yeah, when I found out, you know, this one was going to be a mostly instrumental record again, instantly intrigued. And yeah, I think while it's not maybe, you know, you kind of touched on it, Kylie, we've been spoiled with electronic records this year. It's maybe not on the level of, for example, the new Floating Points record that's just dropped, but for a breezy 30-minute listen and an end of the summer record, it's just perfect. I won't like you, I won't go into every track in detail, as I think my notes would probably be pretty much the same, but you know, it's the great guitar grooves, wonderful waves of synths that just wash over you. Is it the collab with Cautious Clay? That's the only one where there's that slight subtle hint of vocals coming in, but they don't take over the music that's going on. That feels like a real centerpiece for the album. And then I think it was Green that just had those more downbeat guitar riffs. Really dug that one. But yeah, like you said, this is an album where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And yeah, unlike maybe the Pompoko record, this is one that I know I can stick my headphones on when I'm working and just enjoy it, you know, blissfully. We've used that word a lot today. Blissfully playing in the background.
It's not a bad word to use.
Yeah, it's the way to describe them all. We can't help it. But yeah, it's when you stick your headphones on when you're working, have it playing in the background, and those, you know, you just get these pleasant textures that they don't always need 100% of your attention in order to enjoy them. And yeah, like you say, it's one that if I'm going to play it, I'm going to play the whole thing and not kind of dip in and out of it. So yeah, not too much more to say that Cardi didn't cover, but it's one of those that go listen to it. I think everyone will enjoy this record. Just a really easy listening electronic record that's perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, I mean the listen whilst you work is exactly that. And what I found quite interesting is that, well, maybe this is always the case, but for one, it goes so quickly, and two, I kind of wasn't really taking notice of it until the song which came on directly afterwards came on, and I was like, oh, hold on a minute, that isn't tight. Like, it was so obvious, but it, you know, like Spotify trying to do its thing and trying to find something which was in this similar realm. Even other Tycho songs, as soon as that came in, it was instantly recognizable that it wasn't part of this. So I think that really speaks to the kind of whole element here. But actually, like, taking the time, and this was the one I did just before we came onto this this pod. Like, that's when you get the nuances like come through by really concentrating, not doing anything else. I mean, interesting to say about the visual artist element, Kylie, because, you know, with a few of them there was that with it, and I feel that some of them would work better if you have a visual element as well. How I generally listen to albums when it's coming to reviewing is like not really looking at anything, just sort of, well, maybe the lyrics if there are lyrics, and then if not, I'm just kind of staring into space. So yeah, there was that feel to it, but there was, you know, it starts so strong. I love that consciousness felt, you know, starter with the bass, which is very funky. There's a real strong Boards of Canada style throughout this one, particularly in the calmness which comes through, which yeah, it, you know, and in that way, the Campfire Head phase is the one which I enjoy the most at Board of Canada, which goes against most people go with Music Has the Rights to Children, but that one there's a lot of real calmness about it, and the peak of that calmness was Green, where I was almost falling asleep, but in a good way. Like it's nice and really calming. It kind of just takes you back down, and that was the start of the 3-song kind of real purple patch for me in this album. Green, which, like I say, you know, just calming guitar strings. I like the slight drum roll in the kind of acoustic drum sound which is on there, and yeah, just so relaxing. And then you go from that to DX Odyssey, where it suddenly gets a bit of space, a bit kaleidoscopic, a bit of introducing vibes almost with the breathing element, nice bass, and just like really working together like seamlessly. And then Totem, which like suddenly the energy levels are up, and for me it was like a soundtrack to like a sports show, or even like one you'd have on FIFA, like the game. Just quite like energetic, but has that really distinctive sound. So that 3-song kind of run for me is the real heartbeat of this record. Epilogue then takes it again, really soothing kind of outro, which again had me thinking of Boards of Canada. So that's the bit I like the most. I think some of the ones in the middle I maybe wasn't as fond of as those two kind of bookends. I did really quite like Devices though, which is quite perky dance tune. But again, I mean, just like all of these records, none which I disliked, and a hell of a lot of kind of subtle variety. Because like I say, when you listen to it as a whole, you maybe don't, and it's on in the background, you maybe just, it kind of has that whole vibe, but actually listening song by song, you know, there's quite a lot of variety going on. You know, you got the bit of a Spanish feel in like Restraint, for instance, quite like watery keyboard sounds in Phantom, and almost Daft Punk-esque. You mentioned like Cautious Clay, where there's almost like lyrics there, and bit, you know, goes back to the funky bass. So there's an awful lot going on, but without it becoming jarring, and so that there's a nice cohesion to it. And yeah, for me, not that I listen to much of it, but my electronic album of the year so far of those I have listened to. I mean, don't ask me which ones, I won't be able to tell you, but I think, you know, as a nice segue, also leading into Jamie XX's, which I think I'm quite, you know, excited for this month. So released today. So there we go.